Today is still our Friday PD session. We're going to talk about Canvas, online discussion, and more. There are two topics we want to cover today. First one, how to utilize the Canvas effectively for online, hybrid, and face-to-face settings. Also, we want to know how to develop effective online discussion in Canvas. We encourage you to share your own experience. I believe most of you have quite valuable experience using Canvas and facilitating an online discussion. The first step to improve the efficiency of your Canvas course design is to use the Quincy College online template. There are several ways why it is recommended to use this template. It's because first, the students need uniformity. If we listen to our students, they are appreciating if all the Canvas course have the same layout. Of course, you can have the certain level of customization. Like I know that some faculty have integrated third-party tools that is very good, but we do not want to create barriers for students to view your Canvas course. And the second reason is from the faculty's perspective, the template is easy to use. It is just like building a house. We already have the frame set up. All you need to do is to fill in the materials. The purpose is also to reduce the unnecessary learning curve for instructor so that you can focus on the teaching instead of learning technology. Finally, this online template meets the accessibility standard recommended by Quality Matters. All the images, the icons have or text, and it has the best use of headings and style. For example, if you're interested to get your course QM certified, using this template will effectively guide you to meet their standards more easily. So even for a hybrid or face-to-face course, I can see the value by using this template, especially the module topic page. It provides opportunities for students to view the lecture notes, instructional materials after class, or review for the future modules in advance to have a deeper understanding of the content. Yeah, I think the QM template is mandatory for all the face-to-face. I'm not sure whether it is mandatory for face-to-face, but it is mandatory for OT class and ZM class. But a lot of faculty I know that teach ZM course, they said they have the reason that since they're teaching course using the Zoom and all the materials will be sharing during the Zoom time, so they kind of not spending a lot of time or energy to design their module topics page, which is I will always recommend that the module topic page is a great way. You can put up all the information like your PowerPoint and lecture notes and all the additional videos and website resources for students to check out. Because the students, they have time, like after class, they can review back of the videos and the resources, because you know that very limited time during the 3 hours Zoom settings, Zoom classroom, they may need more time to still go over those materials. And the other way is to make use of the Canvas communication features. Some of the complaints from online students are that the instructor is not visible. So to increase the visibility and actively engage your students, this is a very great way to increase the social presence of the course. The announcement tool is for you to send out the ending course updates. It is common that instructor add materials or adjust the teaching goals during the semester to address the students' needs. It is important to communicate the changes to your students. So using the announcement is a great way to let your students know that what's new there. And the inbox is the Canvas native message system. I understand our faculty are more used to use the QC email to communicate with their students. But you will also need to check Canvas inbox constantly because it is more convenient for your students to send you a quick message while exploring your course in Canvas. And the discussion panel is a required component for OT classes. But for ZM course, hybrid course, or face-to-face course, you can also utilize this discussion panel to create the asynchronous learning environment. For example, create a Q&A discussion for students freely to ask you questions, or create a self-introduction activity in the beginning of the class to foster the peer interactions. Or you can create a research and share discussion to encourage your students to share relevant resources with each other. And the assessment feature is also very useful for all types of courses, online or face-to-face. Just to follow the trends, it is common for students to take quizzes or submit assignments through learning management system. It is just making both students and instructors' life easier. Yeah, let me quickly show in Canvas, like what kind of features of assessment that you can utilize. So for example, from the assignments page, if you want to weight your assignments in different categories, like for example, discussion takes up 20% and quizzes take up 20%, you have like a weighted category for your all kinds of assignment. You can put them into the assignment group and you can weight your assignment group. Let the Canvas to do the calculation for you. Don't have to calculate each individual and by yourself or use a spreadsheet. This is just an easier way for you to let the system do the calculation, do the complex step for you. It's very easy. Just go to the assignment and click on assignment group weighting and enter the percentage for each assignment group. And sometimes, for example, if face-to-face course, they have a class presentation, which they ask the students to do in-class presentation, while the student does not have to submit anything, you can still create assignment like grade item for you to enter the grade for them. The student does not need to submit anything. You just create an assignment and make it with no submission. So the students does not need to submit anything, but you can still enter the grade for them. Like for example, the class presentation or attendance or class participation. You can also do this. And from the gradebook, I know that gradebook they have like a lot of settings, taking time to learn different kind of settings within the gradebook. But whether you know that there is a very great feature that you can keep track of student submissions and you can communicate in regard of the student submission. Let's say if you see like several students hadn't submit their assignment for example, this one hadn't submit their assignment, you can just click on 3 dots next to the grade item and then click on message student school. And you can choose hadn't submit yet, and you can send them a reminder from here. So they will receive the message from their Canvas inbox, say that, oh, please submit your assignment from here because we don't see your submission from this assignment. So this is a way for you to communicate submission or in regarding of the assignment to your student in a very quick way. So that's for the assessments in Canvas. I just want to know, did anybody have any thoughts about or any experience using Canvas, any difficulties? You can just unmute yourself and speak out.
Yeah, I'll just mention that I was able to make my Canvas inbox import the emails into my regular Quincy College email.
Mm-hmm.
So that saves me having to go back and check the inbox all the time.
Yeah.
I forgot how I did that or if I had help, to be honest with you. But I think there's a way that can be done.
I thought that was automatically done. All of my Canvas emails go to my regular Quincy College emails. I thought IT set everybody.
Oh, maybe they did.
Which makes, I mean, Dave, you're absolutely correct. Can you imagine having to flip back and forth and then what email did I already answer? Which one didn't I answer? Of the
Yeah.
amount of emails we get per day, that would be insanity. Yeah.
Yeah, so every time you receive an email from your Canvas inbox, you will receive it. It is automatically forwarded to your Quincy College email because you use the Quincy College email as your login.
Yeah.
So that's the default settings. Yeah, I saw Kate has a question.
Yeah, hi, Melody,
Yeah.
colleagues, everyone. I took on a course NU 207 after another faculty left. So the course was already constructed, sort of week by week.
Mhm.
I was wondering if I could, so I picked up the course 2 months into this semester, just to give you an idea of the clunkiness of it. So is there any way I could share my what I've done on the assignment side, because the students can't see it, and I've tried to move it up from the with the settings, but I still have that little eyeball there. And so I don't know, like I have like a lot of questions, but this is like I thought maybe you could help me if I.
Yeah, sure. After this meeting, you can send me an email. I can go to your Canvas course to take a look. I guess might be your assignment is not published or your assignment is listed in a unpublished module. So we can definitely figure things out.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little unusual. Maybe it's not unusual for me. That I'm walking into someone else's kitchen and I'm trying to rearrange a few things. So that would be great. I'll send you an email. Thank you.
Sure. So the next topic we want to talk about is the discussion. Yeah, so how do you develop online discussion effectively in Canvas? First, the discussion prompts are extremely important. It needs practice for sure. So it is recommended to have the open-ended question, encourage the students to perform an activity in the process while making their initial post, like search and share activities. And it's also good to include instructional materials such as a piece of reading, podcast, or video that supports the learning objectives. For some topics you want the students to discuss in depth, you may want to create a group discussion, let them to deep dive in different prompts. Other than writing an engaged prompt, the direction are also important. For example, if you require students to reply to their peers, which type of reply you favored, this also can be communicated with your students, because this prevents some simple reply like I agree or I disagree with you, but really dig into the statement behind this. So, and also the communicate deadline is also important, especially for asynchronous course. For example, you ask your student to make their initial post on Wednesday and reply to each other on Friday so that they have enough time to read each other's content before they reply to each other. So in order to make the online discussion prompts very effectively, you also need to facilitate the discussion. It is recommended to facilitate as needed. The discussion is a place for students to freely express themselves. You don't want to dominate the conversation. And if it is a graded discussion, it's better to grade it based on their participation instead of the content. And also the rotate student facilitators is also a terrific way to engage the students in the conversation. I once applied this model to my class. So my students not only learn each other's perspective, but also learn how to provide positive feedback to their peers. It went very well.
Yeah, how do you do that? How do you have student facilitators and what are their responsibilities? And how do you get it to work?
There are 4 weeks discussion, and each week there are 2 students facilitators. They will go to the discussion board and they respond to each other, to other students regarding their initial post. So they provide their feedback as a facilitator. in the very beginning, I shared a document like how to provide positive feedback, give them some ideas. You really need to balance your feedback and pay attention to your tone. And how to provide the positive feedback does not mean that you always say the good things, emphasize the strengths your peers showed up, but also you want to provide the if you have questions or you have like great ideas to provide the next steps, you are encouraged to do so. And some students, facilitators in the very beginning, they're a little bit nervous. They're not very confident about their reply to their peers, but they reach back to me and I kind of walk through to analyze their post and give them as an instructor, I provide them with guidance, like how to do this. And after practice, they all feel very satisfied about their feedback to their peers.
How many students did you have in that class?
8 students.
Okay, so it's a small class. You can get away with
small class.
something a little more labor intensive.
Yeah, you're welcome to try this strategy. I guess if it is for a big class, you can increase the number of the students who as the facilitator. You can have like 5 people per week do the facilitating activities.
I just read Kate's text, and she has 41 students. So that particular method may not be practical for her. I found with the discussions when I first began them, I treated them like little essay assignments. So I would actually go in there and edit their English. But I found that took a long time to do for a lot of students. So now I just sort of maybe highlight what they have. But I've been moving more and more away from that and towards treating the discussion like a conversation. That means that the students write just as badly at the end of the class as they did at the beginning, but it's a lot less work to have to go in and to edit. And the discussion pages really aren't meant for that. I mean, I can do it because I can go into the HTML and actually make changes there. But yeah, I've been moving away from editing grammar in sense and structure. So I'm going to guess that's a general trend among people that do this for a while.
Yeah, I don't look as much, Dave, at grammar as much as I look at content. I do look at content because I do use my discussion posts as part of my assessment pieces.
Yeah,
they are asked specific questions to address. There are very specific directions too. They must respond by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Or they automatically lose 5 points off the top, because it's not fair to their classmates who are waiting for them to respond, so that the other, because they're required to respond to also two classmates on top of that. So I initiated that a couple semesters ago because people were waiting until Friday night, but you had like the 1 or 2 students who were right on top of things. They posted Sunday morning or Monday, and they're waiting, and it's not fair. You know, they're waiting to reply. They don't have 2 classmates to reply to. So I initiated that a couple semesters ago, and that works really well. And they're told they'll automatically lose 5 points off of the discussion post if they don't meet that first deadline. So I look at the content. I look to see that they've addressed each question that was asked, but I don't grade on sentence structure or vocabulary or spelling or syntax and stuff like that. I'm more looking at the discussion post. Also tells me, did they read the book? You know, did they read the chapter this week? Did they open the book this week? And so that helps with it too. I do discussion posts. I've done discussion posts forever. I do them for my ZM classes, my OT classes, and my on-campus classes. Because you have students who don't like to talk in front of other students. And so this also still gives me another piece, another assessment piece, another piece to try to get. I mean, I learned a lot about some of my on-campus students that really didn't talk a whole lot in class, but then I would read their discussion posts and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Like they have a lot of great ideas, or, you know, they really have the knowledge. They just don't have the self-esteem or you know, they're nervous to speak in front of their parents.
Yeah. They just
so I really do use it
Yeah, I've been doing the Wednesday for the original posts since I began doing discussions, and that's just because I knew that students always wait, or some students wait until last minute for everything, and I also knew other people that were doing this, so I said that's a good idea. You said something that reminded me about having students look up material, and out of necessity, when I first started doing the online work, I was in a hurry. So I didn't have a lot of videos. So I had my students look through my PowerPoints, and then they have to go online and they have to look up articles or videos based on the material that's in the PowerPoints. And that I found that works very well, because they have to do their research skills, look up different videos and find one they like or that works really well, or that they hate. It's up to them. And then they have to summarize that and link to the video. Then other students then are able to critique the videos or the articles that the students post. So that seems to work out fairly well. Eventually, I may get around to making videos, but honestly, this method works really well. So I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, I provide videos and articles, but I like that idea. We have discussions based on posted videos, posted articles as well, not just on the chapter, but I like the idea of them having to do a little bit of the research themselves, Dave. And sharing what they found. I like that idea. I mean, I have them do that with some things, like we just did pre-academics this week, and I asked them to share ideas that they found on how to, facilitate learning and fine motor skills and gross motor skills. And I asked them to always cite where they found their sources. But this is an even better way to really make that available to each student. I like that idea.
It seems that all of you have quite a lot of experience using the online discussion. Yeah, so the last thing I want to bring up for the online discussion is the feedback. Like, how do you actually reply to the student? So this is some kind of feedback type I found by myself, like, which is very helpful, effectively. Like the say back involves the restating what students said. This shows the student that you read their post and let them know that they're on the right track. And often the best way to start a say back comment is begin with I agree or some other appreciative statement. And ask question is a good way to engage your students in the conversation about their work. While answering their questions, students often reflect on the process of their work, which brings their comprehension into a deeper level. Questions can serve many purposes when providing the feedback. They can be used to clarify the student's thinking. You can ask, what did you mean by so and so? To encourage the students to make changes to their work, you can ask, have you thought about trying so and so? And providing the next steps is a way to let students know what else they can do to improve their work, and looking ahead to acquire the greater knowledge. You may start with I recommend sentence. It is more than offering a suggestion, sharing advice. It is more specific to provide the step-by-step directions that encourage the students to reach just beyond what you think they're capable of doing. And connecting the students with resources. Here, the word resource has multiple definitions. It can refer to a new information, ideas, perspectives, and any campus resource. And it also refers to their peers. So connecting the students with their peers encourages the social learning, which enrich the course community and the learning process. And sharing the personal experience. Some instructor may have second thought about this strategy because they think it is not formal and their personal experience may not be applicable in the student's case, but it is to say, hey, I've been there to the students and help foster a relationship of a mutual respect. Besides increasing the sense of connection, the sharing your personal experience makes the feedback feel more authentic and meaningful. Students want to learn from the real world experience. And when you want to apply the different types of feedback, you may want to select the most effective ones and mix or match those to the student's case. for example, you may start with a say back comment and suggesting a resource, and then ask a question to push their thinking. Or you can just open with personal experience and then connect your students with their peers and encourage them to help each other's thinking more through in a different ways. So it's all your strategy. And I'd love to hear your experience when you facilitate the online discussion. What kind of feedback type you prefer to when you respond to your students?
I'd say I use every single one of these at different times during the semester. You know, considering I'm educating teachers and it's a field I worked in for over 20 years before coming to the college, I definitely share personal experience. I also have 4 children. So a lot of, you know, like they just did a big assignment on accommodating children with ADHD. I have a son who was diagnosed with ADHD a few years ago, you know, and I shared different strategies that we've incorporated. I also, if I'm not bogged down with grading for the week, I will go in and participate in the discussion post and post additional questions, depending on how my week is going. So sometimes I do like an overall kind of a statement to the whole class and ask additional questions. I do try to it does get hard, like Kate said, when you have a class of 41 or, you know, like my highest class is 31, but when you have a class, you know, you're teaching 6, 7, 8 classes, it does get hard to go in and comment to every single student's every single post, because everyone has a discussion post every week. Every class has at least one assignment, if not multiple, every week. But I try to make sure I shake it up, that I don't always post to the same students every single week if I am asking additional questions or asking for clarification. I have picked up, and I know this is a little bit of a bias, and I need to be careful of this. I have certain students who respond back to my comments on a regular basis. So those seem to be the students that I will leave a little bit more feedback to every week. And I know that's not the best choice of action, but I know that they're definitely reading my comments because they do respond back, and we kind of have like a continued discussion on the assignment going after the assignment. But, you know, I definitely try, if something wasn't done correctly, I do have a policy in my class to have 1 week from the time something's been graded to redo it. So if a student really struggled with an assignment, obviously they're going to have more comments. Even with, I do not allow redos on discussion posts, because the point of discussion posts are to discuss with your classmates. But assignments, yes. And so I do try to provide a lot of feedback when it comes to that, so that they can look at my comments when they go to redo their assignment. It's not a mystery of, you just didn't do a great job. You know, so those are some of the things I've learned. What does everyone else do?
I'll just mention first that responding to students that respond to you is a feature, not a bug. That's just a natural benefit of being engaged and being involved. The other value of the discussions is that they're like little short assignments that you can give lots of them. So if a student does badly on one and they don't get credit for it, it's not the end of the world. It's just a little mosquito bite among many other chances to do the next discussion. So hopefully they'll be learning over time with that. And the fact that they may not get credit for something that they're not able to redo, they'll hopefully do a lot better next time, realizing that this is their only shot. They better get it right the first time. That's also a lot less grading for you, because essentially now you've just doubled your work with them, because they have to resubmit a thing and then you have to grade it all over again. Right. So
that's very true. That's very, very true. Sometimes I'm kicking myself when I'm looking at something. You only get one shot though. If you don't redo it, looking at my comments and following my comments, and it's redone incorrectly again, then don't ask me to turn it in. Nope, sorry, closed. You may not do it again.
Otherwise, you're Sisyphus rolling that ball up the hill over and over again.
Yes, I do drop the lowest discussion grade and the lowest assignment grade. So, you know, that's also the thing with the discussion post. If someone's like, well, I was in the hospital all week, I really couldn't do the discussion. I say, that's why I have implemented this policy. I dropped the lowest discussion post so that that won't affect you. I said, you know, I'm sorry that you were in the hospital, but the discussion post is closed. You can no longer discuss with your classmates, and that's why I dropped the lowest grade.
Do you all have rubric for your discussion when you want to grade the discussion?
Yeah, I use a rubric for the discussions, but I'm thinking of changing it.
Okay.
I use a rubric, but rubrics definitely take more time to use. It takes a lot. I've been trying to limit my rubrics to larger assignments like PowerPoints, presentations, reflections, but I do have a rubric I use, but it takes a lot longer to grade.
I keep the rubrics very simple, actually. So that it's like a 9 matrix grid, and one of them is, you know, did you respond? Good, fair, and poor.
Maybe you can share that, Dave, because I think that's my problem. I think I make my rubrics too detailed and specific, so I end up making a lot more work for myself. So an assignment that shouldn't take 30 minutes to grade is taking, you know, a lot longer to grade.
Think of things like for the English, I can look at it and I can see it looks like it's well written. I have to spend more than a minute looking at it to see if there are problems, you know. So things that are very, very fast, right? Very well written, you know, maybe just a couple of typos here and there. Yeah, there are enough problems that I notice it. Yeah. Versus this is really bad, right? That level, right? So you don't have to spend a lot of time looking at it, right?
I've never done a team blog presentation. I do have a presentation rubric I use.
Okay, yeah.
Because we do a lot of presentations, but as far as your comment goes, I'm not an advocate of team projects. I'm not gonna lie. I have a son who is a straight A student, and I've seen what happens with team projects. I don't have any rubrics for that, but I do have a rubric I would be happy to share too, that you could make adjustments to as far as trying to add the team component into it. I do have a presentation rubric I use, but I'm not.
I made it from a presentation, but this course had multiple deliverables, like 8 quizzes, 3 exams, 3 team blogs, 1 paper, and 10 discussion boards. So I had to reconcile where everyone was when I walked in, and I had to make adjustments in the deliverables. But I kept the team blog to 1, and I'm using a presentation kind of one, but I've never had an assignment out there where all y'all need to develop a blog. But it's not, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just keep that presentation model. I didn't know if, I tried to look for one in the Canvas, go look for a rubric, you know, when you click on that, just in case there was.
Have you looked online? Because I've done a lot of my rubrics.
There's nothing either. So I think I'll be okay.
I'll be honest, I find the rubrics online to be overly complicated.
They definitely are. I will agree with you, Dave. I usually end up taking like a combination of several and then even like cutting them down a little bit and creating my own. I can't ever find a rubric online that I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I want to use this. So again, I end up making more work for myself because I'll try to gather a whole bunch of them and take a piece from here, a piece from there, and like create my own. But yeah, most of them, some of the wording, I'm like, I don't even know what this, I'd have to look up this word. Like our students will not know what this word means.
I just want to open up SpeedGrader, look at the post, click, 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 move on to the next one. If it takes more than 15 to 30 seconds, it's a bad rubric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then I have a lot of bad rubrics.
I'm also wondering, what's your choice when you build the online discussion? Do you mind your students look at each other's initial post and then make their initial post, or you want them to make their initial post first, and after they make their post, they can see each other's? So
that's what I do. They have to post first because I was noticing I was getting a lot of repetition. I felt like They were afraid they were going to be wrong, or so they'd read other people's posts first. So I did not used to do that until I saw this pattern. So every single discussion post now, you cannot post and you can't see other posts until you've posted.
Yeah,
I
that's a
started
great
by
strategy.
letting students see other people's posts, but I told them they have to do something different. So they have to read other people's and then do something different than what everybody else did. Then I just switched to having them not see it first. So then I don't have to go through and looking to see if they're repeating what other people did, because it was basically easier for me that way. I didn't have to check. So now I just have all my posts where they don't get to see the other students' posts. And if there's some repetition, fine.
So it's very good conversation today. I learned a lot from you, the great strategies. Next week, we're going to continue this conversation. Like if you have any topics in mind, you can just let me know, send me an email, say, hey, Melody, can you talk about this and this for the future coffee chat? And you can just let me know. Or you have any questions you want hear your peers, like other faculties, how they do this, in which way, you can also let me know. I help you connect with each others. And also the next week on May 16th, I believe it's a Thursday from 1 to 3 is the office hour for instructional self-assessment reflection office hour. Means that if you receive the feedback from your February submission, you have any questions regarding this, or you want to discuss further with Lisa or I, you can just drop in during that time. Or if that time is not working for you, you can just send me an email. We can schedule any time, any other time by Zoom or in person. That's totally fine to discuss further regarding your self-assessment. And also the Media Studio service available right now. I already have a faculty member, Karen Bazil, already working with us, create a very good video in a very high quality, because we take care of the recording. You just need to be in our studio with a green screen. You talk, whatever kind of instructional materials video. We have light board you can use to, if you want to write something. It's like a high technology way. You don't need to know anything behind the technology. You can just be there and trying to demonstrate on the piece of knowledge you want to deliver to your students. And we take care of the entire recording piece and the editing piece. So you don't need to worry about anything for making the instructional video. We do it for you. So that's the Media Studio. And I'm not sure whether you know that we have an excellent digital media assistant already as a student. His name is Eric. He's also have background in editing the video in Camtasia. So feel free to try our service. The Media Studio is free to use. And coming through that, we have our website page. I'm still trying to working very hard on creating the website, which have a lot of information like QM, faculty resource, and PDs and podcasts. We still want to continue this community learning. We interview the faculty members who are interested in share their great source on any subject, teaching online, teaching hybrid, teaching face-to-face, anything you want to share. That's something you may want to be aware of. Any question about this?
I'm good.
Thank you, Melody.
You can contact me. Thank you, Leo. Ask a question like, do you have any email address? So our email address is innovation@quincycollege.edu. So that's our main email address. And you can also email me directly if you want to schedule a time. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. And you can check the chat. That's our email address. You can also send me an email, say that, hey, I want to schedule appointment to create the video project. Thank you everybody for coming today, and we have a very great time, and I hope Lisa will be satisfied with today and being alone to host this event. But I really appreciate all of your support, giving me a lot of support and thoughts about great ideas. Yeah, I hope everyone have a great weekend, and we'll meet again next Friday. Bye now.